Hello, welcome back to my channel, Lovely Moments Creating. I hope everyone is well and I hope everyone is staying safe. If you are new here, come on in and join the family. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button and remember the notification bell, because that way you'll be reminded every time I upload a video. My name is Jenny, and on this channel I create lovely DIYs using mostly items that I find at the Dollar Tree. I try to keep my DIYs budget friendly but easy to do. If you want to see some of my creations, then keep watching. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who is supporting my channel. Thank you so much for watching my videos and your comments. All of those things helps my channel grow, and I'm so grateful. I have connected with some amazing people and I'm so grateful. So I cannot thank you enough. I'm so excited to be sharing these farmhouse fall DIYs that I have created. For the first DIY, I will be using 2 of these fall signs. I also will be using one of these gather signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm so excited to finally use one of these because I also have thankful. I will be using some of this jute wire cord, and these items all came from the Dollar Tree. From the Dollar Tree, I also got some of this floral, and I'll just be using pieces off of these. I also will be using some of my chalk paint in the color Antique Wax, as well as in this cashew color. So I removed the strings from all of these signs, and now I'm going to remove this happy fall sign, and it comes off really easy, and I just have to remove the excess glue. And I am going to do the same thing to this other sign. Usually when I remove things, I save them to use them for other DIYs, but these happy fall sign attachments, they're pretty flimsy, so I might not be using these, so I think I'm just going to toss those out. And so now what I'm going to do first is glue these 2 fall signs together facing each other. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to paint this using that Antique Wax color chalk paint, and I'm also going to paint the gather sign with the same color. And I have painted the sign as well as the gather sign. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to distress both of these pieces using that cashew color chalk paint. And I'm going to distress around the edges just like that. And I'm using my Dollar Tree brush, and I'm just going to brush around the edges of this sign. And I'm going to continue this step all around the sign. And I'm going to do the same thing once I finish that to this gather sign. And I'm going to go in the same motion and just distress the edges all the way around. And on this gather sign, I'm going to make sure I get in the creases as well. And so now that I have completed that step, I am going to glue this gather sign to this other sign, and I'll be using my E6000 as well as my hot glue for this part. And now that that step has been completed, I am now going to add my wire jute cord, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling it apart because I'm going to start gluing it down from the bottom. And this is one of the reasons why I always double up on my wood pieces, and I glued 2 signs together, because I like my DIYs to be very sturdy, and if I put something around it like this jute cord, it will have something to attach to. And I do change things around the home a lot. I move things, And so I want to make sure that they are secure and that they stay together and that they are sturdy. And I'm just using my hot glue, and I'm going to glue this jute wire all around this sign until I get to the top. And now that I have went along the sides, I'm now going to go along the top of this sign, and I will stop with the jute wire cord once I get in the middle of this sign, because I want to make sure I leave out enough so I will be able to hang my sign. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to cut the remaining wire to the size of this sign, and I am going to glue down the excess jute cord. And now that I have attached the cord down, this is how my sign is looking. And all I have to do now is add my floral. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off 2 stems, and then I'm going to pull off 1 bud. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one and I'm going to add it in the little hole of the gather sign. Now I may end up switching this one out depending on how it looks with one of my Dollar Tree little sunflower buds off of a sunflower bunch that I used. And so I'm going to take these other 2 pieces and I'm just going to glue them down on each corner of this sign. And now that I have finished that, this is how my sign looked, and I did switch it out for the little sunflower. And now I'm going to get started on the second DIY for today. And for this DIY, I will be using 3 bunches of these mums from the Dollar Tree. I have 4 bunches, but I decided to only use 3. I have this little ceramic bowl that I got from the Dollar Tree, as well as one of these little round foam pieces. I have some decorative moss, and I will only be using a few of these rocks and a few of these little log pieces. Also for this DIY, I will be using a little bit of this burnt umber acrylic paint. And I've already cut all of my little mums off of the bunches, and I cut them all to this size, and I did use all 3 bunches. First thing I'm going to do is take this burnt umber acrylic paint, and I'm just going to distress around this bowl, just around the rim. The Dollar Tree have some really cute bows out right now, and they actually have some that has the rim distressed with brown, but for this color I couldn't find one. And now what I'm going to do next is I am going to glue this round foam piece to the center of this bow. And then I'm going to start just adding in my mum pieces, pushing them all the way down. I thought these mums was perfect for this DIY because the way they stand up, they look like little flames. And what I'm going to do after I complete that is just going around the edges, and I'm just going to add some of this decorative moss, a few of the rocks, and just a few of the logs, and then this DIY will be complete. And so this is how it turned out. Very simple but cute. And now I'm going to get started on the third DIY. From the Dollar Tree, I have 2 of these little wooden houses. My son picked me up a stick from outside, and I will be using some of this jute cord, just a small amount. I have these small letters from the Dollar Tree, and I'll just be using 2 pieces of some greenery that I poured off. I also will be using my chalk paint in the color Antique Wax as well as Ivory. The first thing I'm going to do is flip these 2 wooden houses over, and I am going to glue them together by the bottoms. So I'm going to add glue to the bottom of this house and attach it to the bottom of the second house, and I'll just be using my hot glue for this part. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is very tight and secure. So I'm going to hold it for a minute and let it dry. And now what I'm going to do is go in with this ivory color chalk paint, and I'm going to paint this DIY. And I also decided to add one of these burlap leaves to this DIY, and I did purchase these from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that Antique Wax color chalk paint, and I am going to distress this sign. I'm going to distress the edges, and I am going to go around the top and just a little bit on the front of this sign. What I like about this DIY is you can actually hang this, or you can have it sitting on a shelf. I think this is really a cute DIY. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that burlap leaf and I'm going to add it not in the center, but I'm going to have the end of the leaf cover the center where I glued the 2 wooden pieces together. And these little burlap leaves have a little wire stem attached, but I just folded mine upwards, and I did add some glue to that little wire stem to help secure it. And I'm just going to press that down. And then the next step is I'm going to take those 2 little greenery pieces and I'm going to glue them down just like this onto my sign, and I'm going to attach it using some of my hot glue. And then I am going to go in with my letters right here, and I am going to spell out the words Simply Blessed. And now that I have added my words, I will go over those with some Mod Podge or some of my wax sealer. And so what I'm going to do next is I use that little juke cord and tied me a little bow, and I'm going to attach that right in between the 2 greenery pieces. And this is how it's turning out so far. Very simple, but I really like it. And all I'm going to do is attach my stick to the top of this using just a little bit of the hot glue in the center, and then this DIY will be complete. And here's how it looks. I really like how this turned out. And now I'm going to get started on the final DIY for today. I have 2 of these wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree, and I'll be using one of the inserts. I also have some of this brown burlap ribbon. I have one of these little candle holders from the Dollar Tree, as well as one of those little tea lights out of a pack, and I'll be using a little bit of that moss. I also will be using my truffle color chalk paint, as well as a little bit of that moss, very little, and also some of that ivory. I flip both of the boxes over and I am gluing them together like that. And then I'm going to take the last little box with the opening and I am going to glue that one right side up, because that's how I'm going to add my little tea light. After I get everything glued together, I'm going to paint this using that ivory color chalk paint. And now that I have finished that, I'm going in with that truffle color and I'm going to paint the inside of this. I'm only going to paint the inside walls. I'm not going to paint the bottom because I will be adding something to the bottom, so you won't be able to see that. And now I'm going to go around the edges because I'm going to distress all of the edges. And now I'm just distressing down the sides of these little boxes. And I'm going to go in and distress just around the opening with a little bit of this moss color. I don't want much, just trying to change the color. And now what I'm going to do is right where I glued the two boxes together, I'm going to go around the center with some of that burlap ribbon. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some jute cord around the center of this burlap ribbon. I'm going to go around it just a few times. I just cut off the extra cord and I'm going to tack it down with a little glue. And I just took a little bit of that cord and created me a little bow that I'm going to glue down right on the top. And I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. And now all I have to do is add in that little decorative moss I have here. And you might not even be able to see it. I'm just adding it for some inside decor as well as to give my little tea candle holder a little height. And now all I have to do is add the little holder as well as the tea candle, and I will be complete with this DIY. And here is a second look of the DIYs that I created today. I really love how they all turned out. I really love this gather sign. It is so simple, but it is so nice. And how cute is this Simply Blessed sign? I like that this can also hang on the wall or sit on a shelf. I will be having it on my bookshelf with some other decor that it goes with. I really like how that turned out. And how cute is this farmhouse tea candle holder? This is so cute. I love it. I love how I distressed it. I am in love with this candle holder. I do love candle holders, and so this is just another one that I'm going to add to my collection. And I love how simple and cute this little mom's planter turned out. I'm really happy with how all of the DIYs turned out today. They are all so simple but so lovely. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to be a part of this family. I am so thankful for all of my comments and my subscriptions, my thumbs up. All of those things helps my channel grow, and I am so thankful. I'm so grateful for everyone who views my videos. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.